Now, speaking of courtside,
Uh-huh.
are you ready?
I got to keep it up here,
Are
bud.
you going to bow down and admit your disrespect and your incredible, flagrant assholicness that you have been treating my guy Devin Booker with for his entire career? Are you ready to apologize? And are you ready to say that Devin Booker is a superstar after what he pulled off last night?
Here's a call. Dallas has a foul to give. Booker on a three. He got it! Devin Booker gives Phoenix a 1-point lead with 1.5 left.
Any questions? The floor is yours, Jake. Go ahead.
I have no comment at this time. No comment.
Are you at least going to admit now that Devin Booker is a superstar?
Yeah, sure. If you want to call him a superstar, sure. But there's still work to be done, for sure. He's top 5 in the league.
You either are or you're not. Is he a superstar?
I think he's still on the cusp. I think he's very close now.
What does that mean?
He's.
What do you mean?
I don't know. It's almost like an intangible. Like he's just got to keep going here. Like you got to get into the postseason. You got to win some games. Like you got to do some things. Like yes, clearly he's clutch.
Is Bradley Beal a superstar?
No, he's not a superstar.
He's not a superstar.
He's a great scorer, not a superstar. No, he's not on LeBron and Kevin Durant's level. Not a superstar. All-star, sure. Not a superstar.
Who's a better scorer in the NBA than Bradley Beal right now?
James Harden.
No. Do you understand the historic run that Bradley Beal's on?
I'm sure it is historic. That's great. But we're not talking about, hey, I played a great 60 games. We're talking about superstars in the NBA. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, that group of player. Are these guys we're talking about on that level? Because those guys are superstars.
I think Devin Booker is on that level. First of all, nobody is on Kevin Durant and LeBron James's level.
Okay,
I
so
think
we're just
those
saying they're
two,
on their own level.
Yeah, those two are on their own.
Okay.
I think Devin Booker is absolutely on the next level.
Uh-huh.
He's in that next tier. James Harden has essentially disappeared in Brooklyn. So I don't know that I'm ready to pronounce James Harden the same old OKC Houston James Harden. I think he's got some proving ground to go over. But I think Devin Booker, I still maintain, is between him and Paul George, they have the best shot in the NBA.
Uh-huh.
Mid-range, 3-point, finish at the rim, like incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Devin Booker, as a shooter, is on par with Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm.
I think Devin Booker is never going to get the credit he deserves until he puts on a Laker uniform.
That or makes the postseason. I mean,
well, even if he makes the postseason, DeAndre Ayton's a joke.
Yeah,
DeAndre Ayton, and again, maybe this is where this conversation goes. I'm telling you, DeAndre Ayton almost cost him that game last night. DeAndre Ayton is the only reason that the Mavericks were in that game late, because Chris Paul throws him a great lob for a dunk that he didn't even jump for. Then immediately after missing that lob, he runs down to the other end of the court, completely forgets that he's guarding Kristaps Porzingis, who turns around and hits a three to tie the game.
Yep.
And I'm in awe of it.
Yeah, and Suns fans will tell you that DeAndre Ayton has improved and that he's a great player and he's a franchise player, and I just disagree. I don't think he's a franchise player. I think he's got a nice little jump shot, but defensively he's a liability. And I think that they should be a lot better than they are. And I feel like we're always talking about this with the Suns, but now that you've got Chris Paul, you essentially should have a big three. You know, Chris Paul and Devin Booker are a big two, but then DeAndre Ayton's got to pull his weight, and he never does. And so it is frustrating. Yeah, if Devin Booker puts on a Laker uniform and goes into the postseason with them and has some memorable run, yeah, that elevates him to the status that he probably deserves to be on. Yeah, but I think you have to go and do that. Is he a wonderful player? Yes, he is. The guy's an absolute savage. Whether you want to talk scoring, whether you want to talk absolutely dogging a defense, like, you know, intimidating a defense, When you think about like what Kobe would do to defenses, like the demoralizing,
Yep.
beat your best guy one-on-one kind of stuff that we saw from Kobe, Devin Booker does the same stuff. But I just think that he's got to get to a point where winning is the only option. It's not good enough for him anymore just to put up his numbers. So that's why I think when you ask me, hey, is he a superstar? Is he one of the best players in the league? Yeah, skill-wise, he's probably one of the best players in the league. But I just think when you're in the NBA, you have like winning plays a role. So like if Kobe had never won, it's like with Dame. Dame's never won anything. He's a great player.
Clutch.
He's clutch, but he's never won anything. So what is he?
Right. Well, and I also think that nobody watches Suns basketball.
That's a great point.
I mean, people in the Valley don't even watch the Suns basketball games.
Yeah.
I think the new building, the new practice facility, Chris Paul being there, all that's nice. But this is still the same organization. And by the way, one win over the Dallas Mavericks doesn't cure the fact that you don't know how to win games. Mm-hmm. And if you watch the way that this game came down the stretch, you know the Suns are not ready to win. You know right now today on February 2nd, Groundhog Day, and I feel like, yeah, this is appropriate for Groundhog Day, the Suns are not a playoff team.
Right. And they should be.
And they should be. They should be better. Is that Monty Williams' fault? I don't know. I would hope not. I don't think so. But I think that the deck that Monty Williams has been handed, DeAndre Ayton is a bust at this point.
Yeah.
He is not a star. He is a really talented offensive player who just routinely refuses to do the right things on defense.
Yep.
And when you miss that lob last night, it's unforgivable to run to the other end and then forget you're guarding Porzingis, who is wide open for a three.
It's a 5-point swing.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable the damage that DeAndre Ayton did to this team last night and does on a regular. If you watch him defensively, he's just lost.
Yeah.
He is, and this is the Rudy Gobert conversation. Had a huge discussion on Twitter yesterday about whether or not Rudy Gobert is effective defensively on the perimeter. And I still maintain that guys like DeAndre Ayton and Rudy Gobert cannot guard the perimeter.
I would still tell you that I think the conversation of like who would you rather have, I still think trends towards Gobert because of what he's capable of doing defensively.
Oh, that's not even a conversation.
But I just think for the Suns, they're just in it's a frustrating position to be in, and this is why I say to guys like Dame and guys like Devin Booker who want to be these one-team guys who have this reputation that they're never going to leave. Like, cool, okay, great. You say you want to win championships and you say you want to do things, but you're not willing to leave your city. Like, you don't get to play in the league for 50 years, bro. You know, like, at what point does Devin Booker say, hey, like, I got to go and win something now. I got to play playoff basketball, you know? So, I don't know. I would love to see Devin Booker in the postseason. I would love that. And I'd love him to be on a team that's competitive, a team that knows how to win games. Like, okay, the Lakers or whatever the situation ends up being, you know? How awesome would it be to see him, LeBron, and AD together on the same team?
Oh, my God.
I mean, it would be incredible.
And Book has openly talked about wanting to be a Laker. Obviously, his relationship with Kobe was well documented. They were very close. I think it's just a matter of time. I don't even think I think it is an eventuality. But right now, I think Devin Booker is a superstar. I in a league that is full of frauds.
Uh-huh.
And when I say frauds, it's guys like Giannis.
Uh-huh.
Giannis wins MVP awards, but has zero ability to shoot the basketball.
Uh-huh.
Zero. Yet people will call him a superstar. Oh, he's a great scorer. He's not. Zion Williamson is not a great scorer.
No.
You know, you look at the struggles of guys like Zion and Giannis. It's that you don't have to guard them on the perimeter. And at least Giannis has at least worked on it.
Right.
And Zion has made a couple of those, but it's not who they are. It's Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons isn't a superstar because he can't shoot the basketball.
Yep.
You know, like how do you legitimately justify propping up guys like Giannis and Ben Simmons and Zion Williamson because they all do one thing in common?
Yep.
They dunk a basketball.
And I think that's what people like. You know, it's as the saying goes in baseball, people like the home run. They like the long ball. You know, people want the exciting play. There's not an appreciation for Devin Booker pulling up at the elbow and just knocking down a pure jump shot in the league. Nobody, the casual fan doesn't understand how difficult that is.
The nuances of NBA basketball are lost on the casual fan.
Yeah.
And I think that's been more magnified with the performances we saw, in the bubble, and now watching guys like Devin Booker hit a contested three to win the game last night.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
And it was pure.
Yeah, I look at Luka Doncic, and I say to myself, look, Luka, it's another night where you guys lost in Dallas, and you wind up slamming your hands on a scorer's table and saying to the media, I have to be better. Well, hey, that's all well and good, but in the meantime, all you are is hype.
Yeah.
Because you're the best player on a really crappy Mavericks team.
Yep.
And now what's the excuse? You get a really good performance out of Porzingis last night, and you still lose. So what is the excuse for Luka? You're walking away again frustrated and angry. Well, what do you want us to do about that? Because I'm looking at the numbers out of this game last night. I look at Porzingis. He gave you 19 points, 10 boards, a dime, a steal, 3 blocks.
He gave you a game.
He gave you a game. And you still lost. And Luka Doncic gave you 25 points, 8 assists, 2 steals, 5 boards, and you still lost.
Yep.
Because it goes back to Devin Booker. Devin Booker was not enough on his own to win games and carry the Suns to the playoffs. Even in the bubble, where he was unbelievable and they went undefeated, it still was not enough to take them to the playoffs. You add CP3, and all of a sudden they're a much better team. There's a different dynamic. CP3 last night steals a ball late in the game, goes down to the other end, winds through the offense, winds up getting the ball back and hitting a 3.
Right.
He's a guy that can make Devin Booker better.
Yes. He does make him better nightly. Yeah.
If they don't go to the playoffs, it's not Devin Booker's fault.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
And if they don't go to the playoffs, if I'm Devin Booker, I want out.
Yeah.
If James Harden can get traded, right? If you can put KD and Kyrie in Brooklyn with James Harden, Devin Booker can wind up on the Lakers. It really is that simple.
Yeah, I agree that it's definitely possible. I just think that the ownership in Phoenix is a pain in the ass to work with, and nobody likes talking to him.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Although James Jones has done a good job building that roster.
Yeah, but it's Sarver being petty and being pretentious about trading somebody to the Lakers.
Could be.
So,
but this is a players' league now, and
true.
the culture's been established that it's not up to the owner.
Yeah, that's true.
And the culture's been established that you got to smash that subscribe button on YouTube. Find us at The Monty Show, MONTY, TheMontyShow.com. That takes you right to our YouTube channel.